We open with Jentry facing down a battered Mogwai, a grotesque figure still clinging to life. Gentry's frustration is palpable as she demands to know her mother's location and her fate. The Mogwai, ever the schemer, offers to assist her, a bargain she accepts hesitantly. However, this isn't a simple alliance. Jentry soon finds herself in a vortex of purple energy, dodging a brutal attack by what we now know is the Underworld's gatekeepers. These tall, skeletal figures, with their glowing blue eyes, accuse Jentry of opening portals between the worlds and threaten to punish her. They reveal that it was Mogwai who had opened the portals, and not her, a fact that does not appease their rage, and the Mogwai is immediately punished. This is not a moment of peace, though, as Jentry is swept through another portal, finding herself back in her mother's study, where it all began. Back in her own world and struggling to find her mom through mundane means, Gugu appears, and he's got to lead a string of luminous, ghostly beads. The remnants of her mother's memories have been found. He explains that her mom's memory fragments have been collected, and they may hold a key to where she is located. He conjures a glowing, mystical compass out of a bowl, which indicates a location she must search. Her grandmother, appearing in spirit form, warns them both not to rush blindly into danger, showing that she's a protective figure, even from the spirit world. Gentry's frustration is obvious. She and Gugu try to understand the directions. Is it north or south? As Gugu makes a phone call, Jentry is shown practicing her portal creation skills using some regular household products like hand soap and a glass. Her grandmother reminds Jentry that her desire to rescue her mother is not worth putting herself or others at risk. She must be strategic and smart. These scenes are broken up by flashes of her training with her grandmother, showing more character and emotion. Meanwhile, Jentry, determined to find her mother, decides that it is time to use the Linglong Pagoda to find her mother. This leads to her making a point of acknowledging the help she receives from the people around her and to understand that it's okay to need help. The pagoda glows and she enters another portal. Ed and the others watch the scene in fear. They understand now that their friend will need their help. They begin to gather their things and get ready to go into battle. Now, Jentry finds herself not in the underworld she expected, but rather a dark, cavernous place littered with strange stone formations. She is met by a large, talking eye, which appears to be a manifestation of DU, one of the series' main antagonists. It's cold and ominous. The scene shifts again and again. We see glimpses into her mother's past. The woman, Mooney, is shown caring for a young Gugu, Kit, and Jentry. Her family was her everything, and they had their happiness. Suddenly, Jentry snaps back into the present, and Gugu shows a map that indicates where Mooney is located, an island that DU says is not within their grasp. They have a location. Jentry has a vision of Michael being consumed by the purple goo, and it causes great anxiety. It is her grandmother, however, that explains that her need to protect the people around her, the people she loves, is part of her legacy, and she must own that power. She is like her mother, and she must use this to her advantage. Then there's a flashback, then a fast forward as they prep to return. Jentry decides it's time to enter the underworld, and it's not just her alone. She takes her family. This shows that she is willing to use both her own power and that of her friends to continue the fight. She steps into the portal, and we immediately see that she's not in a nice place. She appears to be surrounded by Mogwai, but even with so many of them around, they're a challenge, and she makes quick work of them. The next scene shows Gugu being swept away and Kit getting hurt and captured. Jentry makes it to the final portal, and it is a familiar face. She's facing DU, finally. He reveals that Mooney never wanted the power she received, that she hated the responsibility of it before attacking Jentry. Jentry, while being attacked by his powers, says that she doesn't care what her mother wanted because this time she has the power to change the future. DU laughs at this before sweeping away from Jentry, leaving her to face her problems alone. This is not the end, though, as the episode concludes with Jentry and her crew following all the clues, finding her mom and moving forward in their fight to save her. Then we're thrown into a fast-paced montage of everyone as they're using their powers to fight in the underworld. as Gentry pushes onward through a variety of traps and demons in a powerful, yet frighteningly amazing battle sequence that leads us to the cliffhanger. The action never stops, and it all crescendos with Michael being captured and attacked by a shadow Mogwai. The scene then breaks for a bit, and we see Gentry crying and talking with her grandmother. Gentry says that this time she is not going to give in, that she's not going to let her mother down, but it is her grandmother who finally sets her on the right track. The episode concludes with Gentry telling Gugu that she's going into the Underworld to get her mother, and that she is working on her portal skills. She's going to find a way to save her. When all seems lost, they find each other, hold hands and step through. There are a lot of challenges ahead, and it all adds up to a very exciting ending. We then get a glimpse of the Underworld, with many portals, floating islands and more, all swirling with energy. Gentry's resolve to find her mother and her ability to push through despite the pain and trauma she's been through is evident in the final scenes. The episode then ends with Gentry creating a shield of energy, and we're left with the image of her and Gugu, ready for the final fight. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay awesome, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing content.